Have you ever looked at your clothes and wondered how they were made? I mean, not just the brand or the style, but the actual fabric itself. For thousands of years, every single thread was woven by hand. It was a slow, painstaking process that took immense skill and time. But then, one invention changed everything, paving the way for the fashion industry we know today. This is the story of the mechanical loom. Our story begins in 18th century England, a time buzzing with new ideas during the Industrial Revolution. The main character isn't a weaver or a textile expert. In fact, he was a clergyman and a poet named Edmund Cartwright. Sounds unlikely, right? Well, in the summer of 1784, Cartwright was on holiday in Matlock, Derbyshire. He got into a conversation with some businessmen from Manchester who were talking about the textile industry. They were discussing Arkwright's new spinning machines, which could produce yarn faster than ever before. But they had a big problem. They couldn't find enough weavers to keep up with the supply of yarn. Hand weaving was the bottleneck. Most people in the conversation thought that building a machine to weave was impossible. They argued that the delicate, complex movements of a weaver's hands and feet couldn't be replicated by iron and wood. But Cartwright, who admitted he knew absolutely nothing about weaving, disagreed. He believed that if a machine could be made to play, just referring to a famous automaton of the time, then surely a machine could be made to weave. This single thought sparked an obsession. When he returned home, Cartwright hired a carpenter and a smith to help him build his vision. His first attempt, which he patented in 1785, was, well, a bit clumsy. It was a clunky machine that needed two strong men to operate, and it wasn't very efficient. Honestly, it was pretty impractical. But Cartwright wasn't discouraged. He saw the potential. He traveled to Manchester to secretly observe handloom weavers at work, studying their every move. He learned how they passed the shuttle, beat the weft, and advanced the cloth. Armed with his new knowledge, he went back to the drawing board. He refined his design, adding crucial improvements. He created a mechanism to automatically stop the loom if a thread broke and developed a better way to pass the shuttle back and forth. His improved loom, patented in 1786, was a true power loom. It was so automated that a single unskilled worker, even a child, could oversee several machines at once. This was the breakthrough. In 1787, Cartwright set up his own factory in Doncaster to put his looms to the test, powered first by a bowl and later by a steam engine. He was proving that mechanized weaving was not just possible, but profitable. However, his success was met with resistance. Handloom weavers feared for their livelihoods, and some factory owners were reluctant to invest in the new, expensive technology. Tragically, a large factory in Manchester that had licensed 400 of his looms was burned to the ground by arsonists, suspected to be angry handloom weavers. Despite these setbacks, the idea was out. Cartwright's invention had laid the foundation. Other inventors began to improve upon his designs, making the power loom more efficient, faster, and more reliable. By the early 19th century, the power loom had transformed the textile industry. Factories sprang up across Britain, and the mass production of cloth became a reality. Clothes became cheaper and more accessible to the general population than ever before. Edmund Cartwright may not have become a rich industrialist from his invention, but his contribution was immense. He was a visionary who saw a mechanical solution where others saw an impossible problem. His power loom didn't just change how we make fabric. It was a key driver of the Industrial Revolution, reshaping economies and societies around the world. So next time you put on a t-shirt, take a moment to think about the incredible journey of innovation, starting with a curious conversation in a holiday town. Thanks for watching. If you found the story interesting, do want to forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the inventions that shaped our world. See you next time.